Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Oh yeah, I remember. Hey, welcome to Classic Media. I'm Jack.
I'm Elliot.
And today on the Doctor Who Retrospective, we're doing something just a little bit different. If you only watch the Doctor Who Retrospectives, don't go away. This is not the new permanent format for the show. This is just, I decided, since the 8th Doctor is a very special case, so I decided to merge, just for this one special time, to merge the styles with my other show, Nothing Matters, which I do with my friend Elliot. So, basically, a little bit of behind-the-scenes backstory for Doctor Who. Doctor Who ended after 26 seasons, I want to say, on the BBC, and then that was it. There was no more Doctor Who for years until, in 1996, they tried to bring it back with this TV movie that aired on American networks, and you can tell that it was American networks, not to badmouth my own country or anything, but they brought it back with Paul McGann as the new Doctor, and didn't go well.
It wasn't horrible,
It wasn't horrible. For context, obviously I'm a big Doctor Who fan. You probably guessed that by now. Elliot is not.
I've seen maybe 4 episodes. I remember one where there were these angels, and if you looked away from them, they could move, but if you looked at them, they turned to stone.
Correct.
There was another one that was Christmas-themed.
There's a lot that are Christmas.
I saw one of them, maybe 2. I think there was like a big bug in another one. Like a bee or a spider.
That's Unicorn and the Wasp.
Yeah. So that's where I'm. That's where I'm sitting.
So yeah, and Elliot does not know a lot about Doctor Who. And for context, Elliot, would you like to tell the audience how well you think you would have enjoyed this movie with your knowledge of Doctor Who, and if I had not been there to explain things to you?
If Jack wasn't there, I don't think I would have had any idea what was going on for about 95% of the movie, because it is heavily a lore movie. Even though I would say 80% of the movie's exposition.
Yeah.
Even though it's extremely expositional, I still would have been pretty much lost. And that's a problem.
Yeah,
considering the whole point of this movie was to reintroduce the Doctor to a new audience.
Yeah, it does a horrible job introducing the lore of Doctor Who to people. And that's the biggest problem with the movie, is that it goes way too hard. Like, it was trying to be a pilot for a TV show. Start small.
Kind of like Justice League of America.
And, like, they did the same thing.
This really reminded me of Justice League of America when I think about it.
TV movies that are supposed to be pilots for TV shows.
They make similar mistakes.
Yeah.
Especially in the 90s.
What a strange coincidence this all is. So, right off the bat with Doctor Who, I'm going to talk about the 8th Doctor in a second, but I really want to talk about this movie. It is very, very not subtle. Like,
so the
very first scene with... Well, first of all, before we even see the Doctor, we get exposition that is nonsense if you haven't seen
I actually didn't realize the movie was starting. It was like we hit play on the DVD, and it's not even logos. It's like, boom.
We're just right into...
Somebody's talking about some planet I've never heard of.
So, basically, the opening of the movie is the Doctor... Well, the Master... the Doctor's old nemesis, the Master, being put on trial by the Daleks on the Dalek homeworld of Skaro, which already makes no sense. Because for the Daleks don't have crimes, and they don't have trials. Their only crime is, if you're not a Dalek, we want to kill you. And so... They wouldn't put the Master on trial. They would just kill him if he did anything they didn't like. And 2, they wouldn't allow the Doctor to be there. The Doctor is their greatest enemy.
I want to see a movie about the trial. Like, he's just there and his lawyer's like, my defendant is not guilty. He wasn't here on the night in question. Clearly he has an alibi. And then they're like, okay, and they just shoot him.
And then the Master is basically like, I want the Doctor to take me back to our homeworld of Gallifrey. I want him to take my remains back. And that's where this whole thing starts. So we meet up with the Doctor. He's still Sylvester McCoy, still the 7th Doctor. And they really want us to know that he's a time traveler.
So it opens in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And
First of all, this is the first big overhaul of the TARDIS's interior design. It's been relatively the same for years, but this is the first time they've really done a big overhaul, and I actually like it. It's like,
I thought I haven't seen the older one, but I thought it looked
the older
cool.
one is like a nice little 60s retro future
it
aesthetic,
makes
like
sense
Star
that they'd
Trek.
swap it for the
But
yeah.
Yeah, this one is very different.
It opens in his TARDIS, and there's a wall of alarm clocks, or not alarm clocks, just clocks.
Regular clocks.
A wall of clocks. He's reading a book called The Time Machine.
the H.G.
by,
Wells book.
yeah. And there's a record playing, and it starts skipping on the word time over and over and over and over.
Just in case, do you get it? He's a time traveler. Do you understand?
I mean, props to them for knowing their target audience.
Yeah. Idiots.
Americans. Well,
what's the difference? Yup. So, anyway, the Master escapes. He as Seaman. The Master is Seaman in this movie.
yeah, we should address that. The design of
Ghost Snake Master.
yeah, it's
starts
nasty and weird.
He starts as Seaman, and then he turns into a Ghost Cobra later. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
And then later he's sliming people like a Ghostbuster, and it's all white and...
He's coming on people.
Oh, God. What a terrible clip for this video.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves there. The TARDIS gets rerouted to Earth for some reason. I forget exactly why, but there's a timing malfunction. TARDIS gets rerouted to Earth, and right as this Asian gangster in San Francisco is about to be gunned down by other Asian gangsters.
Which none of this is ever addressed in any way.
Yeah, we don't know why.
Like, I'm actually just thinking about this.
Yeah, why are these people after him? What did he do
Who
to
are
them?
these people? Who are the people chasing him? What's happening?
Yeah, and that's never explained. This kid Chang Li, he's just there. That's all you need to know. So right as he's about to get shot by these gangsters, the TARDIS materializes on top of him. And that's I'm going to be referencing if this movie is beholden to the canon or if it's just making its own shit up. Here it's doing something that has been established as a power the TARDIS has. It's materializing.
One of the rare instances where it does that.
So the Doctor gets out of the TARDIS and is immediately gunned down by the gangsters.
Yeah.
He's gone.
He doesn't even look outside. In my understanding, he has some sort of monitor where he can see. So, he's stupid.
He usually checks the monitor
stupid.
to make sure it's safe outside the TARDIS before he walks out.
And I just want to say, and this is kind of a larger overarching point, but from someone who has not seen the rest of this franchise, almost every bad thing that happens in this movie could have been avoided if the Doctor wasn't stupid.
Yeah, the Doctor is very stupid in this movie.
First of all, what are you doing bringing the evil guy's remains back to your home planet? I know you're supposed to be nice, but does that not feel like a trap? And then second of all, why are you showing up on Earth?
Yeah, he just goes to Earth.
If there's any risk at all, why are you going to Earth so much? Go to planets you don't like.
At least if he had gone directly to Gallifrey, then they probably would have been able to contain him in some way.
Yeah.
They've got the technology.
Or go to some abandoned planet and then,
yeah,
who's he going to possess?
I don't know why he rerouted to Earth.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the Doctor is gunned down in the street. Then the gangsters run away after shooting him. Chang Li gets out of the TARDIS, and he's not fazed by any of this.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. There's never once a mention of his two friends being gunned down in front of him.
Yeah.
Or, a giant magical,
police
box spawning on top of him.
He's just he just walks up to the Doctor I'm going to call an ambulance. Okay?
Yeah, it's not even one of those things where, he's just confused but doesn't ask about it. It's just as if it didn't happen.
Yeah. And so Doctor gets rushed to the hospital.
Doesn't check on his dead friends, but he checks on the random old guy.
Yeah.
Who got shot.
That's true. He didn't even
He didn't check on his friends, be like, maybe we should take them to the hospital. No.
Random old man.
And by the way, did Did the police not have any questions?
I guess not. Like
Like,
yeah, you'd
okay,
think he would. The last
This guy calls the cops. There's 4 corpses here.
Yeah, yeah.
2 of them aren't even, or there's 3. 2 of them aren't even addressed. Where did this telephone or police box come from?
Yeah, you'd think he would want to keep that as far away from the police as possible. But anyway, Doctor gets rushed off to the hospital, and that's where we meet Dr. Grace Holloway. I think that's her name, Grace
Yes.
Holloway. I know it's Grace. And
her husband Brian, who is
I think boyfriend,
yeah, who is the single worst character in the Western canon.
We meet Grace. Well, first of all, the doctors, they're like, we don't know who's gonna save this guy. Who's on call tonight? And it's like, Amazing Grace.
Well, we'll have to bring in cardiology.
Who's on tonight?
Amazing Grace.
They cut. She's at the opera. She's on call for her surgeon
she's at
job.
the opera
but
with
she's
her boyfriend.
at the opera. Why?
And the way they introduced the scene too, it's the classic. Like, she's got the little binoculars over her eyes. She pulls them down. There's a single tear rolling down her cheek. Like, the most BS cliche way you could possibly introduce that scene, and they're just hitting all the marks. So
she rushes off to the hospital and her boyfriend Brian is like, ugh, this again. Business girlfriend has to go do business at the hospital.
exactly, it's one of the worst tropes in media, and I feel like the 90s were particularly bad. Family member is mad at other family member, or boyfriend is mad at girlfriend, or vice versa, because they have work. And work exists.
Work bad.
I was saying to Jack, like, someday I want to see a movie where, it's a dad who's always going on business trips and doing things for his business, and the kids are like, but daddy, we want to play with you more. And then the dad is like, okay, and then he quits his job, and then they all starve. And then they die. And that's it. That's the movie.
Business dad bad.
I give it a 10 out of
bad.
10.
Anyway, back to the movie.
Yes.
She does surgery on the doctor, and the doctor dies because they don't realize he has 2 hearts. The doctor is taken to the morgue where he meets quote unquote a mortician played by Will Sasso. Does that name sound familiar to you?
No.
Do you remember the lemon guy on Vine?
No.
He did all the vines. It was like, he said lemon, and then a lemon came out of his mouth.
Homemade almond milk. Water, almonds, lemons. Lemons!
No,
That was the joke
I don't
every
know
time.
I didn't know that existed, and I'm sorry. I know now.
That a Viner is in the famous Viner Will Sasso is in this movie as Pete the Mortician. The Doctor regenerates in one of the most brutal regeneration scenes I have ever seen in Doctor Who. Like in the classic series, it's the effect for regeneration is just a crossfade. In the new series, the effect is like he throws out his arms and it's like yellow light flies out. But in this one, he like morphs. Like, his body, like, bubbles. Like,
It's pretty strange.
it's disgusting. And he turns into Paul McGann, who is the best part of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's why they got the 10-minute short that we'll talk about later on. Is he probably deserved better than this? I think he could have
definitely deserved better.
He could have had a decent stretch, despite his character being written like garbage.
He's a victim of bad writing.
He looks the part. He's a good actor, so.
He acts the part well. He really captures like the
You tried your best, friend.
rest easy friend. He captures the whimsical aspects of the Doctor really well.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of like he's got this like childlike innocence to him. Like the world is wonderful. I love all life. I love everything.
Yeah, especially in the scene where he's well, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but the scenes where he discovers who he is.
So yeah, the Doctor is. Oh, first of all, when he's regenerating. Again, with the lack of subtlety in this movie, Will Sasso is watching Frankenstein.
Yeah, oh my god, and it keeps cutting right from like
it's alive.
Frankenstein to him regenerating Frankenstein in the least subtle way possible.
It's alive.
And they even there's like a reference to it later on or something.
Yeah, that's much.
Yeah,
later.
it's just like okay, we get it.
So like. The Doctor, then, he's behind this, like, big metal door, and he just punches it down.
Yeah, and like, my understanding is he's not supposed to have, like, super strength.
No,
so
he is just a regular person. Like, aside from the 2 hearts and the ability to regenerate, he doesn't have any abilities that a normal person doesn't have.
Yeah.
So, that's very stupid. And so he, like, wanders to this part of the hospital that looks like it's been destroyed in an earthquake.
Yeah, there's like a loose baby doll.
There's, like, broken mirrors everywhere. The windows are open. Rain is coming in. What is this part of the hospital? What
is this hospital in general?
But, like, more of the non-subtlety. The doctor, when he realizes that he has amnesia because this was a rough regeneration, he has amnesia. He falls to his knees and screams to the heavens, "Who am I?"
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Look at an audio.
Yeah, it's really dumb and not good.
Yeah, that's a good criticism.
It's really dumb and not good.
Put that
Review over.
Put that on the poster.
I'm out.
The end. Meanwhile, the semen master has turned into a ghost.
God, why are we calling him that?
Because he looks like semen. Has turned into a ghost cobra, and he's in the home of an EMT named Bruce, and he basically Bruce's only crime was snoring. And
Bruce's
keeping his
wife is
awake.
almost as bad as Brian.
Yeah. What is it with people having terrible, terrible significant others in this movie?
It's pretty weird.
But yeah, Bruce's only crime was snoring too loud and keeping his wife up. And for that, he gets possessed by the master and essentially killed.
Yeah.
Which, again, the master has been shown to have the ability to possess people before. But...
And get reptile eyes.
No.
Not before? Really?
I told you, the snake imagery is not a thing.
What?
The snake imagery has never been a part of the master.
That's so weird.
Now.
Why is it in the movie?
Because it's cool. That makes him look
It's not
evil.
cool. It makes him look like a Goosebumps villain. It's so stupid.
Bruce turns into the master, and his wife wakes up and is immediately super horny for him. He's like,
what is she saying? That's not my name. What is your name? Master. Okay, master.
Come back to bed, honey.
My name is not Honey.
Oh, well, what would you like me to call you then?
Master will do.
Well, come back to bed, Master.
And then he murders her.
Yeah, then he kills her.
Okay, and now...
She's the only person who dies in the whole movie. Other than him, I guess. Right?
And now you can talk about the horrible...
Okay, so Grace goes up to her boss, supervisor.
I think that's the hospital director or something.
Yeah. And she's like, hey, I have an x-ray with 2 hearts on it. And he's like...
And also a missing corpse.
And the corpse is gone. And the guy who runs the morgue...
the guy punched the door down.
He says the guy broke the door down and ran away. What should we do? And the guy's like, hey, give me that picture of his 2 hearts. And then he burns it. And then he's like, if you showed anyone this, you'd get fired. Because they'd know you did a bad job because people can't have 2 hearts. But she didn't take the picture. And like the 2 heart, like in the surgery, the problem was he had 2 hearts. So if anything, the picture would prove that. And everything would, but he burns it, and is he ever in the movie again? No, he disappeared. It seems like he's going to be some sort of villain, because he's very manipulative, like, ooh, no one's ever going to see what actually happened, and then you'll be saved, but, like, then he disappears. It's so weird. I don't understand his motivations. I don't understand who he is. I don't understand why this happened. It has nothing to do with anything.
Chang steals... the doctor had a sack full of, like, stuff.
Goodies.
Mostly, I think it was, like, his TARDIS key and his sonic screwdriver.
Which is supposed to be broken.
Yeah, sonic screwdriver got broken in the 5th Doctor era, but forget that, I guess.
Yeah.
And so Chang steals it. And
runs away through the hospital. Nobody stops him, because if there's one thing hospital employees don't mind, it's when strange people are sprinting through hospitals with doctors behind them yelling, stop that guy. They just all, nope, let's turn, let's mind our own business, you know.
Grace meets up with the doctor in the elevator, and they make a point to show us the toe tag still wrapped around his toe. And so we think that's going to be how
the way she figures out it's him, but no, she never notices.
The actual way she figures out it's him is he pulls out the tube she left in his chest.
Yeah, left inside of him during surgery. But she never looks at the toe tag.
It's disgusting. It's so gross. You agreed it was gross at the time.
It was gross. Like, it was pointless.
You just show her the toe
I'm pretty
tag.
desensitized to that kind of stuff.
I thought it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought it was stupid.
So she like takes him back to her house, and he starts name dropping famous historical figures, which makes me wonder: isn't he supposed to? They like really pick and choose what amnesiac qualities he has.
And then she's like, "Yeah, let's go for a walk."
So they go for a walk.
They go to a park.
He remembers he's the doctor. And the doctor remembers who he is. He remembers he's from Gallifrey. They start kissing, which starts a horrible trend in Doctor Who of the Doctor kissing his companions, and I hate it.
Big old red flag.
Gross. He's over 1,000 years old. No matter how old the woman is, it's statutory rape.
Yeah, I agree.
So, meanwhile, the Master is in the Doctor's TARDIS with Chang. And he's trying to open up the Eye of Harmony, which is something in the Doctor Who canon that I don't fully understand, but I know they're getting it wrong here.
I don't understand it at all.
Basically, the Eye of Harmony, one, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be on Gallifrey, not in the Doctor's TARDIS. And two, the way they use it here is just nonsense. Like, for something like a person with a pure heart has to look at it in order to open it. And if,
I love that trope from movies.
And if it's open
it must be pure of heart.
And if it's open at midnight at the turn of the millennium, the world will be destroyed? That's the Master's evil plan?
Yeah. It's a Y2K movie, which is hilarious. I don't know if we mentioned the date yet, but it's a Y2K movie.
It takes place on New Year's 1999.
Yeah.
They're in the park and the Doctor just knows, oh my god, the Eye of Harmony is opening, and then he just rapid fire starts spitting nonsense exposition at the audience.
There's so much exposition in this movie.
Like they realized halfway...
It's constant.
They realized halfway through the movie they forgot to give it a plot. And so the Doctor just rapid fire has to say, oh my god, if the Eye of Harmony is now open, if the Eye of Harmony is open at midnight tonight, then the world is going to be destroyed. Oh no. Because the Master wants to steal my body so he can take my regenerations because he doesn't have any left. Yeah. And it's like, where is any of this coming from? You just decided this is happening now. There was a scene I really liked. A lot of people point to it as like Paul McGann's defining moment as the Doctor, where he steals the cop's gun and he's like, let us through this barricade or I'll shoot myself. Yeah. He's
threatening to shoot himself. He's not threatening to shoot the cop.
And that looks like it would have worked. But then Grace steals the gun from the Doctor and shoots
the motorcycle.
Shoots the cop's motorcycle.
Which luckily didn't break because they were trying to steal it.
Yeah. And they just escape. And
that'd be like pulling a gun on someone and being like, give me your phone. And you have a new phone, give me your phone, and then shooting the phone.
She faces no consequences for this. Like, at the end of the movie, she's like, I'm going to stay on Earth for a while, and the Doctor's just like...
Yeah, her taking... Because the way she does it is she's like, no, wait, give me the gun, and then does it. Like, if she hadn't done that, everything would have been fine. Now everything's still fine, but she might get arrested. Like, there was no benefit to her doing what she did. Then as they're driving off, she throws the gun away.
Yeah. Like,
inexplicably.
So, yeah, we can skip ahead now to the end of the movie.
Well, I want to talk about the two genuinely funny scenes.
Oh, yes. There are
One of them happens when the Master is like, and these are the only intentionally funny scenes. One of them happens, the Master is like, when we're done with this, like, what would you like me to do with you? He's like, oh, you kill me. Like, he's laughing. He's like, you want me to kill you?
You kill me. You want me to kill you?
That was good.
The delivery by Eric Roberts in that scene is really good. The second funny scene is when the Doctor opens up the TARDIS, and there's a cop chasing.
By a cop on a motorcycle.
So the Doctor opens the TARDIS and just stands aside.
Yeah. And he yells, "My brakes! My brakes!"
The cop drives right into the TARDIS. We wait like a comedy beat.
Yeah.
And we hear him screaming again.
Yeah, he's driving out and he's just screaming and he just keeps going
he
past.
Just leaves.
It works. Like,
Well,
the way they shoot it, the comedic timing,
So
it works.
we got two
Then it's back to being
honest to
boring and
God clever, funny scenes in this.
I wouldn't even call that one clever. It was just like a good gag.
It was silly enough.
It was silly. It was good, silly.
It was silly.
Fun.
It made us laugh hysterically.
Good, silly American fun. Damn it.
That's what we want from Doctor.
That's what we want from Doctor Who. None of this British stuff. This isn't Doctor Whom.
Yeah. Anyway, cutting to the end of the movie, they're in the TARDIS in the room with the Eye of Harmony, and the Master comes out wearing. He had been wearing like Terminator clothes this whole movie, but he comes out at the end wearing traditional Time Lord garb for some reason.
It's really funny.
And he said the best line delivery in the movie, my favorite line delivery in the movie. I always dress for the occasion.
I always dress for the occasion.
I love
beautiful.
that.
It's great.
I love that line. So, and this is where I can talk about how Eric Roberts plays the Master, because no version of the Master has been consistent with the previous version. So, the Master went from Roger Delgado to Anthony Ainley, and Anthony Ainley pretty much played the Master the same way Roger Delgado did. But then we go to Eric Roberts, who's just... Like, I mean, the Master had always had fun being evil.
Yeah.
But never like this.
Never to a Batman villain extent, is my
Like
understanding.
60s level. Like he's like a 60s Batman villain. It's like he's so happy to be evil.
Yeah.
I love it. The Doctor convinces Chang that the Master is evil, and so the Master
Very easily.
the Master snaps Chang's neck. And
Bye bye, Chang.
he kisses Grace and unpossesses her, and then uses her to open the Eye of Harmony. And that is supposed to transfer the Doctor's remaining regenerations to the Master?
I guess.
Somehow.
I was lost.
And
by
also
now.
the world is about to be destroyed by the Eye of Harmony, but eventually
He stops his and
they stop it. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Who
Chang
cares?
and what's her name are back to life.
Who cares at this point? The Eye of Harmony.
ends.
The Eye of Harmony eats the Master.
Oh yeah,
That's fine. It's
dumb.
fine.
It's whatever. The movie ends. Let's go to the short. Nothing at this
Yeah.
point matters at all. It's dumb and stupid and bad.
I think basically what you need to know is they thought this was going to be the pilot for a TV show.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Not at all.
And so
like Justice League.
years later, in 2015, I want to say 2015,
Something like that.
For the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, they did a special called Night of the Doctor.
Yep.
And basically the backstory here is in between the events of the movie, which it's debatable if any of the events of the movie are actually canon,
Yeah.
and the beginning of the new show, there was an event called The Last Great Time War, which at this point in the show, at Night of the Doctor, it's like the Time Lords versus the Daleks, and they're destroying pretty much everything. Like the universe, hundreds of thousands of planets are being wrecked in the crossfires of this war.
Yeah.
And the Doctor at the start of this is like, I want no part of this. I'm not part of your war. I'm just here to help out anyone who needs it. Basically, this was basically a redemption arc for Paul McGann, because we all knew
Just
he
giving him
deserved
another
better.
chance
We
to
all
be
knew
in
he
something
deserved
worthwhile.
something. Like we know there's
solid.
audio dramas that Paul McGann has been in.
Yeah.
We're not talking about those for this. Maybe in the future I'll make a video about the audio dramas, but for now we're just talking about the show. And he's really good in this. Like,
It's really short, but yeah.
it's really
I mean,
short. He deserved more time to shine, but for what he got, he's really good.
Yeah, it's a really simple plot. He's just
Yeah.
in a ship that crashes, and then
He's basically like there's a crashing ship. He's trying to save this girl who's the one girl left on the ship.
but she won't get on the TARDIS because he's a Time Lord, and
yeah,
she
she's
thinks
like
he's evil because he's a Time Lord.
Yeah,
I'm not leaving this ship without you.
Then you're gonna die right here. Best news all day.
and she's
Yeah.
like, the way she delivers that line is really
I
good.
like the beginning where she's like calling for a
Yeah, the
doctor or something.
computer.
He's like,
no, the computer is like, do you need medical assistance? I am calling a doctor. And she's like, I don't need a doctor. And
then he's like, I'm the doctor, but not the one you were expecting.
I'm trying to send a distress signal. Stop talking about doctors.
I'm a doctor. But probably not the one you're expecting.
I'm like, oh, he's talking to the audience. Clever.
yeah, it's a cute. I
Clever-
really like
clever
doctor
story.
meta doctor moments like
Yeah.
that where they
But yeah, so they crash on the planet. He's briefly revived by
flash
some
on
witches.
the planet Karn, which is
Karn.
established part of the Doctor Who universe. Only appeared in one episode prior to this, in an episode called the Brain of Morbius from the Fourth Doctor era.
Sure. I trust you.
And basically, the Sisterhood of Karn, they're witches. They're like, we've elevated Time Lord science here. We can, like, you're going to die, Doctor, no matter what you do. And the Doctor's like, okay, if this is where I die, I'm willing to do that. But they're like, are you sure? They show him Cass, and it's like, Cass is the name of the girl. I think I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
The name of the girl is Cass. They show him her corpse, and they're like, this is going to happen to pretty much the entire universe if you don't do something. We need, like, this war has gone on long enough. We need you to end it. And the Doctor's like, fine. They say, who do you want to be, Doctor? We can make you into anybody you want to be.
Fast or strong? Wise or angry? What do you need now?
Warrior.
Warrior?
I don't suppose there's any need for a doctor anymore.
And then he does do a pretty they give him the potion that's going to turn him into that's going to make him regenerate. And admittedly pretty corny line delivery of, get out, get out!
Yeah, that line delivery was horrible.
Get out, get out! All of you.
Yeah.
It made me doubt him for a minute there.
Just
the rest
a minute.
Was good.
And he regenerates into John Hurt, the War Doctor. And that's all you got, Paul.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm sorry that's all Paul got.
Sorry, Paul.
Well, maybe someday you'll be able to come back.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. You deserve better, Paul. You really do.
But as of now, no more Paul.
Paul is dead. That's a Beatles reference.
Now you gotta spin this video in reverse to try to find clues.
If you watch this video in reverse, you will...
Paul is dead, Paul is dead, Paul is dead, Paul is dead. Jack is dead, Jack is dead, Jack is dead, Jack is dead.
Just checking. So, yeah, and normally in these Doctor Who videos, I do a top 5 best stories for this Doctor, but obviously...
Number 1, the short.
Number 2, the movie.
Number 3, the trailer. Number 4, the bonus features on the movie. Number 5, the poster. Boom.
Oh, speaking of the movie,
wait, you said top 10.
Top 5, I meant.
Oh, good.
Speaking of the movie, I want before we wrap this up, I want to do a complete rant sort of thing of how difficult it is to get this movie in America without pirating it, because I wanted to watch it legally, and I did watch it legally, but
We've watched every show on this channel legally, haven't we?
We didn't.
Every movie.
We didn't watch Justice League legally. Technically, we watched it on Daily Motion.
Oh yeah.
But the DVD for this movie is like $100 on Amazon. It's absurd. The Blu-ray is region locked.
Oh, that's so dumb.
The only way to watch this movie, and I learned this from the Doctor Who subreddit. Thank you r/Doctor Who. I rarely go on Reddit, but for that one time you were helpful. You have to. They did these DVDs for like a series of retrospectives on Doctor Who, kind of like what I do, but with the professionals who worked on Doctor Who. And on each DVD, they include what many agree to be the best episode of each Doctor they talk about. And thankfully, there was only one episode for the 8th Doctor.
There you go.
And that's how I watched the movie. This was incredibly, stupidly difficult to find. And I don't know why they make it so difficult. It's not even on any streaming services.
I know why they make it so difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to see it.
So... That's all.
They wish it was lost in time, like all those episodes from the first seasons.
Yeah, they wish they could erase tape over it by accident. But anyway, that's all we have to say about the 8th Doctor. Join me next time, guys. We'll be back to scripted format. Elliot won't be here. We won't be talking about the 9th Doctor yet. We're going to be talking about something you might not expect. But I'll save that for the next episode. See you next time, guys, and physician, heal thyself.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
I was gonna do my thing.
Oh, yeah.
Physician.
Wait, we should probably restart that whole cycle.
See you next time, guys, and physician, heal thyself.